What's up, you guys? So I'm here with a new video today, and I'm here to do a different kind of video, just kind of a different segment. I wouldn't really call it a permanent segment, but I was looking over the format, or pretty much the same format as last format, in addition with the new no draw rule if you go first, and the double field spell, that yada yada stuff that everyone's talked about, and it made me think, there are certain cards in this game that, had they never existed, how different would our game be? Would the decks that are winning, the decks that are topping, will they still be here? I covered this before. I covered this when I made a video months and months ago saying, what if the Dragon Rulers never existed? Because everyone knows when those four behemoths were unleashed, they caused absolute chaos in our game, and they were the most unbelievable deck that has ever come out. They're just, constant refueling each other, etc., etc. But I was thinking of Soul Charge when I started to make this video because Soul Charge has literally, it's elevated decks to levels that they never would have been able to get to without this card. And basically, the discussion video here today, and like in all my discussion videos, will be open to you guys in the comments with your real opinions on it. Is what if Soul Charge never existed? What if that card was never printed? What if the only time you'd ever see that card but never own one was on the TV show, and you'd never even get to play it, you'd never get to see it, etc.? What if Soul Charge never existed? Would decks like Sylvan's be as relevant as they are right now? Because I've heard so many people just watching videos, catching up on stuff, saying that Soul Charge, Lone Fire is game. It's like what you hope for all the time. Even with Miracle Fertilizer, Soul Charge, Lone Fire apparently is like game. Apparently, depending on what you have, you can go double Felgrand or Felgrand in a level 8, or double Felgrand level 8, or Felgrand Draco Sack. I guess it just depends. I know nothing about the decks, so I can't really say anything, but that's what I've heard from people. That it's like a 2-card kill combo. And Soul Charge has like elevated so many decks. It has elevated Infernities to an absolutely ridiculous level, to the point where everyone's like, "Oh, Infernities are dead. Infernities are never going to do anything." And then, they're still topping. Sahabi is taking them. It's what got him to top nationals to go to Worlds. Soul Charge is basically like 3 more Archfiends, 3 more launchers, whatever you want to call it, depending on the situation. The card is absolutely insane, and the fact of the matter is that we all complained about this card, myself included, when it first came out, but a lot of us become guilty of using it, myself included. It's been used in pretty much every deck at one point or another. It's been used in Mermails. Mermails use it fantastically. It's been used in Mythic Rulers, Dragon Rulers. The card's insane in Dragon Rulers. You're able to just make Draco Sacks and Stardust and Ajurais and all these crazy boards with minimal investment, and I think that's what's pretty crazy about the card. Lightsworn uses it. Like, I never would have seen Lightsworn using it, so I put two and two together. I was like, oh yeah, you're not always going to open with like, charge, recharge, mill your whole deck, JD win. Sometimes you have to use Soul Charge in order to get around problematic cards. Sometimes Soul Charging 2 level 4s can make a Honor Arc, which can steal an Ophion, and it can win you the game against Evil Sworn. I've done that myself. I've seen it happen. Just Diamond Direwolf, cards like that, Lavolval Chain, cards that'll be made off of the Soul Charge are what is making the card so amazing and splashable in pretty much everything. Yugioh has used it. Pretty much you name it, I've seen it in pretty much every deck. Hat has used like 1 or 2. It depends on the variant. There's so many variants I've lost track. If it's Hat or Fat or Curry Bandit hat, Curry Bandit wearing a hat, I don't even know. I made that joke when Curry Bandit first came out. I have no idea though, but I know that this card has been just pretty much defining the format because it is just such an insane card. Like, the ability to just rekindle at will, and not be limited to what you can rekindle, just pay the life points, is pretty insane. Um, you're playing dragons, bringing up all the dragons. If you're playing Lightsworn, bringing up all the stuff to make Michael, and then make level 8s, and then you have your JD set. There are just so many plays you can do depending on the deck. Most decks can just like can go rank 4 like crazy. Like, gadgets could use it, spam out all the gadgets. They could overlay, make their 4s. Decks that make 3s can make 3s, and so on and so forth. It's pretty insane, though, to see what an impact this card has had. Sylvan's, I'd say, is the primary example because the deck took forever to be, to establish itself, and Soul Charges gave it that extra just oomph. It made it absolutely insane. The fact that Lone Fire Soul Charge was pretty much game if you had no way of stopping it, no way getting around it. I mean, Felgrand's hard enough to answer, but if you have to answer 2 Felgrands and a level 8, or just 2 Felgrands in general, it's crazy. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think would happen to our game if Soul Charge was never printed? What if the card never came out and it was just not an option? Like, you didn't have access to it. how different would decks be? Would they be playing, would decks be playing differently? Would Mythic Rulers still play, but at a much slower pace? Would Lightsworn still be played with the structure deck? I'm sure they would. But would Sylvan still be played? Would Sylvans be played to the level they are now? I know a lot of people are picking up the deck because they think it's a favored deck going into most events right now because a two-card kill combo is convenient. But I've noticed any deck pretty much this format outside of like Reversal Quiz and any kind of non-typical Yu-Gi-Oh deck is going to use Soul Charge. It's Monster Reborn on steroids if need be. I mean, sometimes you'll Soul Charge just for one if that's all it takes, or sometimes your points are too low. But it's the fact that it's a Monster Reborn and you're only paying life points, and so many formats have come and gone, and life points were never the issue. It was just establishment, it was consistency, it was everything that this game is about besides the life points. But if Soul Charge never existed, how different would this game be? That's what I want to know, you guys. What decks do you think would be at the top right now? Do you think it would be the exact same? Would Hat and Sylvans and all these decks, still, reign supreme as like the best decks right now in this short little format that we have that ends in the end of September? Now I'm not saying don't, I'm just saying Soul Charge itself. Don't think I mean the Dragons of Legend, because I could make a video on the hands if people wanted me to, because I guess the argument would be if the hands didn't exist, would Hat exist? Uh, there are versions of Hat that don't run the hands for certain reasons, so I would say that it's not completely out of the question. But right now we're just gonna focus on Soul Charge. So that's all I gotta say, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A little different than what you probably expected, but it was just kind of dwelling on my mind today. If this card never existed, how would you get out of some of those situations? I've gotten out of so many stupid situations, unwinnable situations because of Soul Charge, and the card's good because the card's like overpowering and they didn't hit it on the ban list. It'll probably get hit on the next list to one, or could get banned. I don't know. I think they'll leave it at one. I think they'll still let you play one. But even at one, it's so damn powerful. I mean, and Boojins are, even throwing in one. Like, that says right there that the card's good. I mean, it's Monster Reborn and it's not limited. It's only limited based on your life points and what you're trying to establish at the current time that you activate it. So that's all I gotta say, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up. Leave your comments below. Say what you feel would happen. You can say you'd be happy if it didn't exist, because I'm sure a lot of people are. I'd be cool if it didn't exist. Wouldn't really matter. I mean, I was playing without it for a long time, and then eventually just kind of gave in, depending on the deck. But there's so many decks that benefit from it. It's created scenarios for the decks that they never had before, and I think that's one cool thing. I'd say that's the best thing that's come out of this card, is that it's given life to the decks that people thought would just not be able to, bring it to the top. And I think that's what's really cool about it. But in the end, it's an overpowered card, and it really has defined a lot of different decks. So I just want to know what you guys think. If the card never existed, how different would our game be, and how different would the format be? So hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.